What's up? I'm Steven Cravata, and in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how my experience went after purchasing Iman Gadzhi's $8,000 course. This course was called Apex, and I think, before we get into my experience with the course, I should tell you why I bought it and kind of where I was at in business at that point. So I started a TikTok agency a couple of years ago. I had previously had success on TikTok with one of my own companies, one of my own mobile apps called Puff Count. I grew the account to 120,000 followers, drove a ton of app downloads organically. So, companies started reaching out to me naturally and saying, hey, do you think you can do the same for us? Can you do TikTok for our company? So I kind of naturally got thrown into the agency game. And this was early on, like 2021. The space was very hot and we started doing well pretty quickly. We scaled it around $20,000 per month, just kind of on our own. And I could see a potential of a lot of problems coming up because an agency is it's very intense business, right? Like you have to have employees, and if you want to take yourself out of the business and have, time freedom, financial freedom, you do have to start hiring people. So it was my first time doing that really. And I could see a bunch of problems coming up. So around this time, I'd been following Iman on YouTube or whatever and watching his videos and stuff. And it just so happened that at that time, he was taking applicants for his new course. It was called Apex. And this was a course designed for agency owners and people trying to, scale up their agency. So I took a call with one of his sales reps, and I was kind of already convinced, right? Like I didn't need much selling because I had watched, the VSL video or whatever, and it seemed pretty convincing, right? So we bought it. It was $8,000. It was not a small investment at the time, and it was a risk, but I knew it was a calculated risk and a risk I was willing to take. So we spent the 8,000, got thrown into this group, and there was course material and all that, blah blah blah. And I can honestly say that I didn't do much of the course material, right? Like I didn't listen to any of the real course material, but the real value that I got was on the weekly calls. So there was a call every single day, every single week. It was a different call for each day, right? Like Monday, I think it was accountability, Tuesday, sales, Wednesday, advertising, Thursday, emails, fulfillment, blah, blah, blah. And those calls were what changed my business, right? My business went from $20,000 a month up to, I think our best month was $150,000 in one single month. And I can honestly say that it was due to me taking the course, not really me taking the course, but me being a part of this community and having access to these mentor type people that Iman brought on. I can honestly say like the calls with Iman, he hopped on calls himself, like they were great. And he gave like general life advice, but the real value that I got from my agency and growing my business came from the calls with people like John Danes, who's a sales guy. I'm forgetting a sales guy's name. This was a little while ago, but those calls changed my business drastically. And I'll tell you why. The reason why is because the people that were kind of taking these calls every day were the best at what they do. So I was able to ask these people, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. Should I do this? And they were like, no, don't do that because I've run into this, and this problem, right? Like, here's what you should do instead. So my learning curve was just so much faster, right? If I didn't take Iman's course and I didn't hop on these daily calls with these mentors, let's call them, I would have run into all the problems myself and I would have had to learn myself and find the better way to do it. But instead, I was just able to ask people who had done this before. So it made my learning curve so much faster, and it allowed me to ask about problems before I kind of saw them. I was able to overcome those problems a lot quicker. So in general, just allowed my business to scale. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Like there's nothing else you really need to know about Iman's course. Like if you are in the business, right? Like if you are actively doing whatever he's selling, I think his new course maybe is like e-commerce and agency or whatever. If you are actively in that business and you have something going for yourself, I would 100% like recommend you take it, as long as there's like weekly calls and like you can talk to someone and get live feedback on kind of what you're doing with your business. Because that is the real value right there, right? Like talking to a billionaire about making $1 billion, like they're going to give you great advice. So talking to people who have been where you want to go is like the ultimate life hack. It's just going to increase your learning curve and it's going to help you get there faster, and it'll help you avoid all the pitfalls that you might run into alone in business. So 100%, like I recommend the Apex course at least. His new courses, I'm not sure, but if the weekly calls are happening, the daily calls are happening, like that is pure gold right there. So um yeah, that's my review. Quick video, but I know that people are interested in kind of finding out what his courses are about. I took it, if you have more questions to ask me or whatever, hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, have a good one.